Hey, what's up? My name is Tom Mizzle. You watching my channel Mizzle14, and I'm here doing a review of Iyanla Fix My Life, Raised by a Monster, Part 1. Let me tell you, this was a very emotional episode. I mean, out of all the ones I've seen, besides the Father Killed My Mother, this was a heavy, deep episode that I was in my tears mostly throughout, like on and off. But I was just like, even before they start saying the story, I was in my feelings. Like I know how deep the story will be and everything because I saw some kind of previews and the reactions and the emotions, the things. The you could see the heaviness in each one of these people who came to the show this episode felt so much trauma so young, and then they have to feel like they still young as it is. The oldest is right now is 32. They is still young to have so heavy burden their childhood innocence taken away from them at so young age to grow up. And then what makes sad about this is that they each was going through the same. Four of them was going through the same traumatic experience, and one of them was not with them, but they haven't spoken to each other for like at least 16 years or something years. 16 years. They haven't seen or spoken to each other. So to have this growing together and not speak to each other is like now is a time where they need each other because they're doing things outward, hurting themselves, hurting others, just to release the demons, just to release the frustration, release the trauma, release the anger they felt growing up. And I guess it's no matter what they do, it's just not enough because it's never gonna go away. And it's either sometimes you be silent, you turn it and take it in, you go, you join through different things, you just out there, you being crazy and going wild, but just because you cannot have done deal with the you haven't dealt with what happened to you. So I'm gonna explain to it what exactly what I'm talking about. Now we have five kids who was not raised by their mother. They've been abandoned by their mother for every reason. We don't know her story yet, but we will find out next week because she will come to the show. So this is I don't know how many parts, but so far it was only this is the first part of the thing. In the next part, the mother will come in so we can see her side of the story. Now, basically, she had not raised none of her kids. She just left them, abandoned them. So these kids have to be raised by foster homes and by other siblings. Charlemagne, the oldest daughter, the oldest child, she was raised by the grandma because the mother decided that she wanted to be with the man that she was dealing with. So she didn't decide to stay with them. So the grandma took her and she raised the oldest. Now, the other four, William, Michael, Kadira, and Kadeem, they was raised by foster homes and foster homes. And I think majority of the time they was together. But Michael revealed they've been like at 57 foster homes. Like how can you subject the child to 50 plus foster homes like that? Bouncing around to foster homes, foster home, foster homes. And honestly, this is like a really sick, ridiculous system that you have children these who need the guidance, who need the stability, who needs the positiveness to get bounced them out to foster home like that, traveling around black bags. That's all they was living under with at the time, majority of the whole childhood. It was told to me that around like 5 or something, 4 or 5 years old, they were just left to go foster home, and for 11 something years, they was in the system, and then I get Kadam and Kadera was adopted because they was twins. They was adopted, and then William was oldest. He did the thing, and then Michael, he internalized things himself, so he haven't been really outspoken and really vocalizing his hurt. But you could tell in his body, it is. Oh my God, Michael was the one who touched me the most, and I will explain more because it just touched me. It is like to him to go through this. So 5 children, 1 was raised by the grandmother, the other 4 was raised foster home, bounced around the foster home, be physically abused, was mentally abused, was emotionally abused, was sexually abused. They went through so much traumatic experience. And not only that, they was 5 years old, they was sexually abused by 14 plus years old, adults, whatever, to them because it was adults. Not just forced to sexually molest each other. Their old siblings, they was forced to touch each other, like brother to brother, sister to sister, brother to sister. That they were forced, and if they don't do that, they will not eat. They will not get a healthy meal. It's just like they would get beat because they would do that. And it was like sometimes your basic survival instincts and survival is all depends on what they ask you to do. And I understand why these kids will hate these people for doing this. It's like these kids need to eat. That's one of the basic survival needs, to eat. And to deprive them of eating is like it could damage your child, no matter what, not to eat. So, in order for them to get the least a piece of food, they had to do these heinous acts. They would have to touch each other. They would have to sexually molest each other. This is enjoyment, amusement for these foster people. And I understand what subject these people who ends up behind the system placing these kids in foster homes and not able dealing or able really evaluating these homes. Like it's just like throwing these kids in there and they going through this traumatic experience for what? And it just angers me and it pains me for these kids to go through this. Like they need, if you see the episode, whatever, this is beautiful young children. All of it's beautiful, and it's like to have the innocence taken away from them, to have the youth, it's too much pain and anger and sadness to go through life knowing what this had done and y'all haven't gotten the help for it. And I'm glad that Kadeem, the youngest one, he's the baby of the group, vote to is Iyanla, because they need that step. To have them go through so much traumatic experience together and not even spoken to each other for so long time, they need that peace to come together as bond as siblings. You don't even have the mother, at least bond as siblings together to know that y'all have each other. Y'all not alone. We in this together. We could support each other. But that's why this is what a Kadeem want. This is what they all wants to have the bond with their siblings. But in order for that to go, they had to start healing each within themselves and then with each other before they even step on tackling the mother, because that's a whole of the deep issues there. But if they cannot help each other and help them their own stories, they cannot deal helping or even working out with the mother. So it was five children. We have Kadeem, who's the youngest. We have Kadara, who's his 12th sister. We have Michael, who's the middle child. Then we have William, and then we have Shalimar. And it just pains me. So Iyanla talked to Kadeem first, and he explained to her that he wrote through because he wants to have the bond with his siblings, and he wants to heal and to learn how to deal with this, to learn how to speak, to learn how to take action, to take over his own life, because he explains that he has been fighting the outside world. He's just been fighting, getting in trouble, getting arrested, just to. It is not like he just fighting just to fight. He just fighting to fight for survival, to go out there that he was forced to do things against his will. So I guess his way to fighting is his will to do whatever he wants to release that. And no matter what he was doing, it was never going away. That anger, that pain inside of was kept going. So he keep fighting and just do what he had to do. So Iyanla had to help him to challenge that anger, energy, and not always fight all the time. And that's that. At the same way, William, his oldest brother, has been doing that. He's been incarcerated for 14 something years. 40, I think he's 30, 32 right now. 32. No, 32 is Shalimar. She's like a 30. 14 something years he's been incarcerated, and he's been fighting himself too, getting in trouble. Don't care what he was doing. He didn't care who he hurt, who he was, because the people who were supposed to be raising him when he was younger didn't care that he was hurt, didn't care that he was emotionally abused, didn't care that he was touching his own siblings, or they were forcing him to touch his own siblings just to eat, just to survive, just to live, to not be killed. Because if you didn't do what you got to do, you probably forced to be killed, or you was forced not to eat. You was not forced to have the basic stuff that you would need to have. So he was going out and out of prison as well, and he was incarcerated most of his life, just like his youngest brother been fighting. So they had both used their anger into outward issues. Now Michael is the one like I said, touched me the most because he's the middle child, and I'm a middle child myself. And sometimes it's always very hard to be not noticed or to go out, so you have to always do something to extra invert to get the attention. But I don't think Michael's in this page wants that attention. I guess his attention was more inwards, and it speaks more volume with someone who's outward expressing his issues, which is could be more deadly and dangerous. That's how I felt for him so much because you could see in his body that he's holding into it, and he told us he had epilepsy from the beating, from the abuse when he was growing up. So growing up, he developed a medical condition on top of the abuse that he's doing and the healing, and as that he has been internalizing it and has been keeping it in secret, keeping it deep in silence, and that's more deadly because he killed himself slowly from doing that, and he haven't really found his voice to speak up and to talk and to say what's going on because he's hurt himself. And throughout this episode when Iyanla was talking to him, you could tell his face was checked out, like he had no soul, like it was like not there. It's like we talking to him, he was like, huh, huh, yeah, I'm listening to you. Like he was in the whole body experience, and you could talk to the face, and it's like he just staring at you in a blank expression, and that could be deadly. So Iyanla throughout the episode had them in focus on him, even though she gave attention to each child separately and stuff like that. But she didn't really have to sit down one on one with Michael. Most of the time, her interaction with Michael was with a group. So I could have wished she had to sit down with him to get more in detail. But he had a breakthrough later on. I'll speak to that. But Michael has been really, and he's very artistic. I mean, she showed his book and his homework. He had a beautiful penmanship. She said light handwriting, and you could draw. And he's an artist, so I guess he used that expression to express himself. Because sometimes, since he can't really express himself vocally, he expresses himself artistically, creativeness, just to show how much he could release. But that's his release. But it's not going to help if he can't release this vocally out, bring this out. So Iyanla has been like, Michael, are you hearing me? Breathe, Michael. Michael, breathe. Like, let it out. Tell me what's going on. Tell me. Emotion is like, let it go, so like that, because it was revealed when she had all three brothers together, William, Kadeem, and Michael, sit down and expressed that William and Kadeem has been fighting. William expressed that Michael put out a knife on William, his older brother, like brothers fighting each other, and that's like, y'all went through so this traumatic experience, and now y'all know is violence and anger, and release that anger. Since Michael has been like internally angry, he expressed, I guess he can't be vocalized, so he used violence as a way to get what he get. And during that time, you could tell he kind of smirked a little bit about, like, it was kind of like funny or not okay. Like, he didn't really take that serious, like, okay, whatever. But it's unacceptable. And y'all said it's unacceptable. You don't pull out your knife on your brother. You don't fight each other. Y'all going through this. Y'all need each other. So you could tell something is lost within Michael in that point where he was going through so much in that traumatic experience. And you could tell, gorgeous little handsome guy. It's like all of them are, and the fact that they went through so much, and to see so heaviness and within him. And Michael's the one that made me cry the most of the episode, because I like seeing him and I was like, oh my gosh, he gonna come on. He's a middle child. He's like this. He gotta come out of it. It's like I'm gonna vote for him to come out, to unleash that. And it was just so painful to see that he was so shut down about what's happening. Not only that, when he found out that Charlemagne, the oldest, because Charlemagne hasn't been raised with them, she didn't experience what they experienced. And somewhere she kind of like, not jealous or envious about it. She just kind of envious because she wasn't raised with the other kids, her other siblings, so she didn't know how they feel. She didn't felt what they felt. She don't know the experience about going bouncing around the family house because she had her own stable life. Because in the beginning, when each one that came in, Iyanla gave them a black bag, and within the black bag was a white bag with an item that reminds them of their childhood. So Kadeem had a crock pot, and he told his story that he had a crock pot. He was did something, and then it was a crock pot in the corner, and she asked him something he couldn't do when he was doing while the water was cold, and she hit him with the crock pot. And then we had a what was the blow up phone that I used in my child? They blow horn, the blow horn. Cadaver had that, and it was like finding her voice to speak, and she couldn't speak because she lost her voice a long time ago. So she keeps silent, just like Michael is, but Michael is more silent internally, and Cadaver, she wants to speak out, but she just can't really say much because she lost her voice to even say anything. So Cadaver had that, and then William had a bunch of handcuffs chained together, which is years of being in prison. And then Michael had the bread and water in the bag, and then he said throughout a month, like he can remember, the only time he was only eating bread and water, and that's all he was living to survive. And you could tell how much hungry he was getting, because like, how can you live on bread and water alone for a whole month or whatever you was going through, just to get what you got? And if you did what you did, you get only bread and water. So that was like, that's something traumatic for him. And then when it came to Shalimar got a tiara, and she got that because they filled Shalimar as the perfect child. She didn't have to go through this, so she had the perfect life towards them. So they was kind of angry and bitter towards her, even though it's not really her fault. But the fact that they had an older sibling that has been with us or raised with us, you could feel that tension, the rivalry within them, us versus her. But not knowing that later on in the episode, she revealed that she herself was molested. And that will cause a more breakdown of Michael when it came to realization that Iyanla had to really focus on Michael's well-being, because when he heard that from his oldest sister, that she was molested herself, even though she was not raised with them. So she was molested by some people that she knew, on top of them who was molested by people, strangers. So they had a similar story, just all because they've been abandoned by their own mother. That's the common denominator between all of them. And so Shalimar was like, yes, I had the good life according to them, but at the same time, I was also molested. Kadeem and Cadaver knew about it. William didn't know, and like that. And then he broke down even more because he felt like he should have protected his siblings. And he was like the oldest, like he was the oldest guy. Even though Shalimar was the oldest, she was raised him. He felt the oldest for his other three siblings that was behind him. So he felt that he should have protected them. And so he couldn't protect them. So he broke down because that was his truth. Like, it was just so painful. So when that came about, when Shalimar revealed that, that was more realizations that she just like them. She was molested just like them. And just because she wasn't raised in foster home doesn't mean that she had a perfect life. Her life was a perfect as well, and all because she was abandoned, and she was molested by people that she knew in her own family, on top of the strangers. So it was the whole realization that they all needed each other at this point. And when Michael broke down, she said, "Michael, breathe, Michael, breathe." And this was when Michael had a breakthrough, and he said he just been hurting, and he been kept it in, not just for himself but also for his siblings, and he been hurting, killing her. He revealed that he slowly killing himself. He slowly hurting himself, and Iyanla said, "You need to forgive. Can you forgive yourself? Forgive yourself for feeling the shame. Forgive yourself for feeling the guilt and everything, and let yourself live, and let yourself breathe and come out of the shadow. You need to let it out, Michael, and let it out." And then after a while, he realized he had to let it out. He spoke his truth. He spoke it. Like, he has been hurting himself, and he don't want this to happen. So he wants to continue on and to live and to be more productive. And not only he going through his medical condition, he just had to go through showing that his brothers and sisters are there for him, just like he need to be there for for his other siblings as well. William, on the other hand, he was the oldest, and his breakdown is like day two when Yana was about to do the process. He broke down and he revealed that he could protect them, and he hates the people who had done this to him. He hates the adults for setting him up for hurt and for not protecting them, to take their innocence. And he hate that he revealed that when he was at the same situation, he was in the basement getting beat and getting beat and getting beat and stuff like that. And in order for him to eat and survive, he was forced to touch his siblings just to get out that basement. It's like that. So it's like the basic survival instincts. And I know people say, "Oh, well, he shouldn't have done it," but he was a young kid. Just like the other ones, they was young kid. They don't know any better. They're looking up to these adults to feel like they should have had protected them to put them in a safe environment. When you in the basement getting beat to your life and getting deprived of food, your basic instincts is taken away. So your intellect, your emotional and stuff like that, your morals is out the window because all you need to survive is to satisfy that instincts. And in order to get a piece of that survival, you have to do something to get that. As a child, what more can you have? Will you rather try to get beat or have food? And most children will choose food, so they will have to do what they have to do just to get that happening, just to get that basic instincts, the food, survival. So he had to force his, touch his children, and when he revealed that, not to touch his children, touch his siblings, when he revealed that, Kadira was like sad or something like that. And more Kadira case, Kadira lost her voice. So when she internalized crying and crying, she not speaking up her truth and not speaking. Iyanla helped her to find out inner bitch because she said every woman has that, and every woman has that bitch, not in a negative connotation, but as that no fuck with me attitude and no don't deal with me, don't put me in a corner, back me up, set boundaries. There was no boundaries set for Kadilla's life because she just was taught and to get her innocence taken away from her, not by the adults in the foster home, by her own brothers and sister, her own brothers basically, because the other sister was living somewhere else, her own brothers. So she had no voice. So Ayana told her, find her inner voice. Who your inner bitch? Her inner bitch name is Alicia. It said, tell Alicia to turn the mailbox off. I hate you. Get out, I hate you. How dare you? I hate you. I dare you. F you up. Get the fuck out of it. So like, they had that and then walk away. You had that, find that voice. So she wanted to get her to find that voice. Also, she put William and Kadira together to talk and to have that understanding that he didn't know any better. And I understand you probably blame her for what happened because he was the oldest, she protected him, but he didn't know any better as well. So y'all forced in the situation. So y'all asked them to forgive each other, not only for yourself but also for the bonding to have. It's like y'all need each other right now, and it's so sorry that y'all both was going through the same situation. Y'all both was in this household being forced to do that, and it's not his fault. It's not your fault. It's them out there. They gotta pay. They had to pay the price. But what they are, y'all forgive each other and love each other and say y'all love each other. And that's what it was. It needs to be that. So she had them hug it out. And understand that it's not y'all. Y'all not to blame. And I guess that's the understanding that you're trying to understand. Trying to get them, the siblings to understand is that y'all was in this together. Y'all is not the fault for what happened and what y'all done. Y'all can't be blamed for what y'all was done. Because William was blaming himself for that. He couldn't be blamed. Y'all all need each other. And that's what it is. So at the end, they had a dinner. Chicken, collard greens, all that stuff for them. And they sat down and they made a quilt for them with all their names, picture of their faces and the heart and it's like that. Yeah, each one had this quilt and hold it for a year. So William will have it first because he's the head of the family. And that's what they need to do. They need to have a family tradition when y'all get together without the mother, within yourself, to bond and serve the table, set the table, provide at the table, have family dinners, stuff like that, so y'all have survival. I don't think none of them have kids right now, something like that, so they still young, but to go together and to really to build the bond. Y'all been not have speaking to each other for 16 plus years. At least get that together. So what you have there, continue that cycle and continue tradition. And once y'all do it, y'all can continue to heal with each other and also get outside help. But at least have this family, these siblings, these 5 beautiful kids to bond as siblings, and to do it with alone. If the mother's involved or not, that's on her. But at least do this alone. Y'all old enough to do as adults. Y'all not children anymore, so y'all can do this as adults, and you can protect them now. Just cause Wayne feel like he needs to protect them, so now you get the chance to protect your children, or your siblings, as is yours, and be the head of the household and to show this is it. I'm the head, and I'm gonna do this to help protect y'all. I'm out. He found God, and when he's president, he trying to change his life. So he wants to be there to be a protector, to be a provider for his family, and let that. And Charlemagne wants to be a part of her siblings to have their bonding. She could have that, to all them to have that. So they had a nice dinner, and she let them have the dinner. And next week will be part two, when they finally face the mother and tell the mother exactly what they was going through, and hopefully the mother have answers for them, because sorry, it's not gonna be it's not enough, Mother Rita. And Kadeem said she called him by his first name, and I understand. Just because she gave birth to you doesn't mean she gave life to you, and that's exactly what she was telling Kadeem, that just because your mother gave birth to you and you feel whatever you feel, that you don't feel like she's your mother, you don't feel like if she died today tomorrow, you don't even care, that's your valid reason. But just because she gave birth to you doesn't mean she gave life to you. And that will end it right there. It's like, that was a powerful statement. Just tell them, it's like, yes, she gave you birth, but you can live. You have a life. She haven't given you a life to define your life right now, and define your life with your siblings. So that was part one. Like I said, I hope I gave y'all hope. I hope whoever going through the same experience as well, learn from this, hear from this. It was a good, powerful episode. Like I said, I love Iyanla Fix My Life, because she shares stories that everyday people might be going through it, and that people don't speak about it because they need to keep hearing silence. And I hope she gives these people courage, their family, way to talk and to bond. And that's why I felt why I got so emotional. So hope y'all got a lot out of this, and hope y'all see y'all next week on the next review when they face the mother. Talk to y'all later. Peace.